that stage with this particular item yet. So I think at this point, we certainly couldn't support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Epstein. As much as I would like the spectacle of former justice ministers battling it out on this issue, I do think the role of this committee, is really to look at current policies, and if there is any need at the end of the next, at the end of any meeting that we might organize, we might move in that direction. But yes, Mr. Clark.
Well, just for clarification purposes, as you know, offering to be a witness does not get into a battle, because you therefore are a witness, as the department officials just were. And I was willing to be a witness as a former Attorney General, and would think that for the purpose of transparency and public confidence about what ministers did or didn't know, and what is referenced in the previous preamble is an assumption that it's an issue of just the previous Conservative and current NDP government, when in fact this whole thing started with a Liberal administration with a 3P process with a design that was flawed. So I'm just saying, if you're going to have a witness, of which I'm more than prepared to sit in a witness chair here, which is not into a debate, as you know, you can only respond to the questions answered, but for purposes of transparency and clarity and public confidence, I've offered to be there, and I thought that the current minister and former Liberal minister would want to do the same.
Thank you, and we will ask the question: do we want to accept this amendment? I see a lot of heads shaking. Okay, the question. Okay, all in favor of the amendment? All against? Okay, the nays have it. So we are back to the original motion, and that is to approve a supplementary meeting of the Public Accounts Committee with the purpose of calling witnesses. The question. Well, let's put that question first. Do we agree? Okay, the question, thank you. The question then becomes as to when this supplementary meeting can be organized. I think, in fairness to the chair, who is of the committee, should say that there was some discussion at the Agenda and Procedures Committee about the urgency of this meeting and the need for this meeting. One issue that was raised was whether or not we should wait for the data that has been asked for in the earlier motion, and that is for data relating to the offenders who may have benefited from temporary absences, the types of crimes, and whether they reoffended, whether we wait for receipt of that data before we move to the next question of a supplementary meeting, or if we move to a supplementary meeting now. And the question is how we go about setting a date if indeed we move to having a supplementary meeting. Yes, Mr. Clark?
Well, there was a sequence of the requests, and I think for the benefit of the committee, if you're going to go to a hearing, having that information would be appropriate before you actually have the witnesses come forward to provide clarity of that, rather than getting the information in a meeting and trying to respond. In fairness to the witnesses, we were asking them a question, and when they respond, we should look at that and then schedule a meeting based upon the information supplied, because the committee may feel that the information supplied is sufficient, and on its consensus not decide to proceed, or feel that it's compelling and want to have them here before the committee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clark. So as I understand it, you're recommending that that the chair write to the Department of Justice to get this data, and then the committee will receive that data and make a decision at that point? Sir, Mr. Colwell?
Yes, I concur with the my honourable member's suggestion on this, but I would suggest that possibly we put a deadline on when they're going to respond to us, because this is a rather urgent matter, and I think we should get the information back, and it's information that should be readily available. It's not something that should take months and months and months to locate.
Okay, so the committee then, as I understand it, is recommending that the chair write to the Department of Justice and set a date. I'm quite happy to no more than 3 weeks. Okay, that the chair requests for a response to these questions, or at least the place they're at 3 weeks from now and no later. Okay, thank you. I know I didn't say that very well, but I think we understand that there'll be a 3-week timeline based on the first motion. All in favor? Okay, thank you. I don't believe there's any other business, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.